Now, looking at Lando, where does that leave Lando in the championship? Is this something that he'll look down, or he'll look back down the road and be like, in 2024, I actually bottled a world championship? Because Lando is part of the drivers, or is part of the drivers who are actually lauded as future world champions. He, Leclerc, who else? Piastri to some degree. Yeah, and I'd argue George. Because when George was getting to Mercedes, they were like, hey, future world champion. Yeah, he is part of those drivers. And we could also argue the current McLaren is a house that Lando Norris built.
Yeah, he's been there for how many years now? 6?
5, 6. Yeah, 6, 5. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But 5, 6. Where does that leave Lando Norris right now? And the McLarens? Because, like I've talked numbers. And the numbers are, if Max Verstappen finishes 6th in every race at the remainder of the season, including the sprint race in Qatar, and Lando wins each of the races remaining, plus the fastest lap, he's still not going to win the championship.
Well, at this point in time, I think we're getting mixed signals from McLaren. They recently said after the Brazilian GP that apparently they were not even in the fight.
PR play.
PR play. Which got us asking questions like, okay, then why did you bottle Piastri's race? Not just once, but...
And even swap positions.
And why did they publicly come out and say, listen, we have driver number 1 and driver number 2?
Yeah.
Having been forced by the public.
Yeah. So I think it's still PR. Right now, the pendulum has swung to Max's side. But if Max again has like a really bad weekend or a DNF, trust me, the messaging or the tempo will change at McLaren. They'll be like, we're still in this fight.
But here's the thing, though, as I transition to you before you answer that question. With Max Verstappen having a bad weekend, in most cases, Lando Norris doesn't seem to capitalize. Norris doesn't seem to be able to capitalize whenever Max is having a super bad weekend.
He's not consistent with it.
I've said this before, is that Hamilton and Max made winning a championship. When you have the fastest car, it's like an automatic win of the championship. Lando is finding out it is not automatic. There's so many. There's so many things that come into play. And I said before, McLaren, like you see the way they are handling this. If I take the Interlagos, like when they were people are pitting for Inters, me I was just praying, man, say Max don't pit. Because like the Interlagos 2016, the one Lewis Hamilton won, he won with one set of tire from race starting to end. Even there's this race of this I think Hamilton secured this championship there I think it was in Turkey. It was a wet race. He didn't pit. Even when it dried, by the time he finished, his tires were bald.
Yeah, I think I remember.
So, and also, if Max in 2016, if he didn't pit, he would have won that race. So, my mind is like, when it rains,
track position.
Where maintain. Just make
Be
sure.
patient.
You'll
get a free pit stop, man.
So, come 20 this year, the way Max handled everything, even from that aborted start, knowing that you are not supposed to go. Also knowing not to pit. Because even you listen in the radio, they agreed to stay out. Even Russell wanted to stay out, but he was told to pit.
Him, yeah.
This is something you gain through experience of being in such races before and experiencing those things. But Norris and McLaren, they haven't been in those positions so many times. They are learning it the hard way. If they look back, they say, did we bottle the championship? Mathematically, if you look at, they did. But experience-wise, I don't think they are ready for like, I'm specifically talking about Lando. I don't think he's ready to like tackle the whole season and win the championship. It is very, very hard. Maybe next season he might re-strategize, he might nini, but at the moment you need to be certain level of a driver to be a champion. It's just not that easy.
There's one equation that McLaren need to solve. They need to find a way to sabotage Piastri. They need to find a way to sabotage Piastri because Piastri will be a problem even next year.
That's if
You see, wait. What I said earlier is that if Piastri was leading in points, they should support Piastri 100%. Like whoever is leading with points as past a certain number of races once a year, support that guy all the way to
you
the
bet on your best horse.
Yes. So what we saw from McLaren, they were like, oh, we don't want to. Since time immemorial, people when were fighting for a championship, if a driver has a chance, you back him up. Usiaze has a story, you don't have a number one. No. You back him up. If it is Piastri who is leading, they should support him. If it is Lando, they should support him. So beginning races, hapo sasa ndio when it matters. Beginning of the season for the drivers.
You have something to get out of your chest?
In hindsight, now we can actually say that Hungary, the decision they made during the Hungaroring race or the Hungary race, is actually, I think they're regretting it, but they don't want to openly say that we are regretting giving Piastri that win.
Yeah,
like I don't think it affects the situation that much.
If Hungary was the next race and the events happened the way they happened,
listen,
they would have let Lando win.
Looking at the point difference in Hungary, what was it? 4?
Was it? I don't think it was.
But 4. is it more or less than the one they swapped?
So
in Interlagos,
okay, it's actually 8. It's 8 points. Hungary, Lando was P2. He got 18 points. Max was P5. He got 10 points.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking the difference in points between Max and
yes,
Lando.
at that point in time.
Yeah. Okay. So 18 and Piastri won
was P1.
25.
Yeah. So it would have been 15.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. That's that's a healthy bunch of points.
And we did talk about it. And I think we asked ourselves, if you were Nini, would you have given me? I told you, I
remember. But we are talking at it from a perspective whereby we are not talking at it. We are not looking at it as McLaren people, as people who want McLaren to prosper. We are looking at it as McLaren are the rivals and everything like that. So we kind of enjoy the whole turmoil happening in their house. You get me? Now looking at it from a McLaren fans perspective, we definitely want them to have a solid number 1 driver, a solid number 2 driver, and of course as a McLaren fan you're going to be backing Lando Norris because again, like I said, this is the house that Lando Norris built, arguably. Now looking at it from Max Verstappen point of view, those are the moments he was looking at and he was like, yes. And even at the press conference, you could hear the way Max was talking. He was like, look, if I look at Oscar, Oscar is a championship driver. This is a championship driver. Watch our pigane. Let them fight. You know what? Looking at Oscar, and Oscar at this point,
he's not a number 2 driver, man.
He's not a number 2 driver. He's like, hey, I'm not a number 2 driver. Hey, mnasikia hiyo maneno. Hebu kwanza talk to my agent. Bana Mark Webber is there. No championship too. No.
Skubali.
Cannot accept. But these are the things that actually make or break a championship. By making a championship, these are the calls that you see early in the season, and you actually make them right, and they come to benefit you down towards the season.